Welcome to Infinite Mind Potential, where we explore the boundaries of human capability and the ancient wisdom that unlocks true mastery. Meet Alexander, a 32-year-old mechanic who feels the heavy weight of stagnation pressing down on his tired shoulders daily. His days are a blurred loop of repetitive motions, fixing the same engines while feeling his own internal gears grinding to a halt. Like many of us, he believes that his capacity to learn and evolve has peaked, leaving him stuck in this permanent rut. Society often tells us that after the age of 30, our brains harden like concrete, making reinvention nearly impossible to achieve. Children learn with rapid speed because they lack the rigid ego and fear of failure that paralyzes the adult mind completely. Alexander tries to learn new skills, but his mind is full of preconceived notions that block any new information from entering. This brings us to the ancient Zen story of the teacup, which perfectly illustrates the problem facing our friend Alexander. You cannot fill a cup that is already full, just as you cannot learn if you think you already know everything. This is the concept of Shoshin, or beginner's mind, the essential foundation for anyone seeking to break through their life plateau. Shoshin requires us to let go of our expertise and approach every situation with the curiosity of a complete novice. In the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities, but in the expert's mind, there are few. According to Zen master Suzuki, adults fear judgment and mistakes, while children view failure simply as data points needed to adjust their next attempt forward. To practice Shoshin, Alexander must suspend his judgment and stop looking for immediate answers, allowing the questions to guide him deeper. When we drop the heavy armor of, "I know this already," we become lighter, faster, and incredibly more receptive to growth. The first step for Alexander is not learning a new skill, but unlearning the bad habits that have cluttered his mind. Modern neuroscience supports this ancient wisdom, showing that focus and alertness are the chemical triggers for unlocking neuroplasticity in adults. Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to rewire itself, but it requires a specific cocktail of neurochemicals released during intense focus. Shoshin creates the perfect mental state for this focus because curiosity naturally increases dopamine, which acts as fuel for learning. When Alexander approaches his work with curiosity rather than boredom, his brain releases the chemicals necessary to physically change its structure. Once the mind is open, we need a roadmap for mastery. This brings us to the powerful framework of Shu-Ha-Ri. Shu, the first stage, means to protect or obey. It is the phase of strict adherence to the teacher's rules. In the Shu stage, Alexander must suppress his urge to improvise and instead focus on copying the proven methods perfectly. This stage is often boring and repetitive, but it builds the unconscious competence required to handle more complex challenges later. Repetition is not insanity here. It is the forging of neural pathways that will eventually allow the skill to become automatic. The second stage means to detach or break. The student begins to understand the principles behind the rigid rules. Now Alexander can start to question why the rules exist and experiment with small variations to see how the system responds. This is where innovation begins, but it can only happen because the foundation was built so strongly during the Shu phase. Breaking the rules leads to failures, but with a beginner's mind, these failures are simply lessons on the path to mastery. Ri, the final stage, means to leave or separate. The practitioner transcends the rules, and the technique becomes a natural extension. At this level, Alexander no longer thinks about the tools or the manual. He simply flows with the work in harmony. This state of flow is what we all seek, where the barrier between the creator and the creation completely dissolves away. But reaching this stage takes time, and the modern desire for instant gratification is the enemy of true, lasting mastery. The gap between where we are and where we want to be can feel overwhelming, leading many to quit too early. To bridge this gap, we turn to Kaizen, the Japanese philosophy of continuous improvement through small, consistent, and manageable daily steps. If you improve by just 1% every single day, you will be 37 times better by the end of the year. Alexander stops trying to change his life overnight and instead focuses on fixing one small thing perfectly, each and every day. Kaizen is about the compounding effect of small actions. Huge changes are unstable, but small changes are sustainable and stick forever. He starts with tiny habits that seem insignificant, but these small wins build the momentum needed for larger transformation later on. Every time he repeats a small, positive action, he myelinates the neural circuits, making the behavior easier to perform next time. When things get tough, he doesn't look at the mountain. He looks at his feet and takes just one more step. This philosophy transformed war-torn Japan into an economic powerhouse. And it has the same power to transform an individual's life. Consistency is the key. It is better to do 5 minutes of focused work daily than 5 hours once a week. These small Kaizen steps act like dominoes, starting with something effortless and eventually knocking down the massive barriers blocking your success. Months pass, and the compound effect becomes visible. Alexander is no longer just a mechanic. He's becoming a master craftsman. He didn't need a miracle or a lottery win. He simply applied ancient wisdom to the biological reality of his brain. The darkness of stagnation has been replaced by the light of progress, proving that growth is always possible with the right mindset. He has integrated Shoshin, Shuhari, and Kaizen into a personal philosophy that guides not just his work, but his life. His brain has physically changed. The neuroplasticity he triggered has built a mind that is resilient, adaptable, and hungry for more. He picks up a new book, not with the fear of being not good enough, but with the joy of a beginner. The world is no longer a trap, but a playground of lessons waiting to be learned by a mind that is open. Shoshin opens the door. Shuhari provides the map. Kaizen is the fuel that keeps us moving forward every day. Now the question turns to you. Where in your life are you stuck? And which of these keys will you use? This isn't just for mechanics. It is for anyone who feels they have more to give, but doesn't know how to start. Remember that even the tallest tree began as a seed that didn't worry about being a tree, but just grew daily. Alexander's story is a mirror. If he can rewire his brain and revitalize his life at 32, so can you. Your potential is not fixed. It is an infinite landscape waiting for you to explore with a beginner's mind and patience. Empty your cup. Learn the rules so you can break them. Improve a little bit every day. The path is simple, like a river carving through canyon walls. Your persistence will eventually cut through the hardest obstacles standing in your way. Today is a blank page. You don't need to write a masterpiece. You just need to write one honest sentence. When we learn how to learn, we not only improve ourselves, but we become a beacon for those looking up to us. Time is not running out. It is simply waiting for you to decide that you are ready to begin again. Take a breath. Let go of the expert you think you are. Embrace the beginner you need to become today. The universe favors the curious. It opens doors for those who knock with humility and closes them for the arrogant. Step out of the shadows of your past failures. They are not a life sentence. They were just part of your training. Thank you for watching Infinite Mind Potential. If you found value here, subscribe and join us on this journey of mastery. Remember, the only true limit is the one you place on your own mind. Keep learning, keep growing, and stay curious. Let us dig deeper into the science. Why exactly does the adult brain resist change, and how do we trick it? Evolution designed the adult brain to be stable and efficient, prioritizing the execution of known tasks over learning new ones. For our ancestors, trying new things was dangerous. Sticking to what worked kept them alive, so our brains favor old habit. But in the modern world, this survival mechanism becomes a trap. We don't need safety from predators. We need adaptation to change. To override this, we need acetylcholine. This chemical marks specific neurons for change, but it is only released during intense focus. This is why passive learning fails. You must feel a sense of strain or agitation. That is the chemical signal working. However, the actual rewiring happens during sleep and deep rest. The focus triggers the change. The rest cements the connection. So, the formula is simple. Intense, focused agitation followed by deep, restorative rest. This is the biological rhythm of mastery. Let's revisit the shoe stage. Why is strict obedience so critical? Because you cannot improvise on a structure you don't understand. Many people skip the basics because they are boring. They try to be creative too soon, and their skills collapse under pressure. You must build a vocabulary before you can write poetry. You must know the scales before you can play a jazz solo. The Ha stage is the teenage years of your skill. You push boundaries to see what breaks and what holds up. This experimentation allows you to internalize the why behind the how. You start to own the knowledge rather than renting it. In the Re stage, you're no longer doing the skill. You are the skill. Action and awareness merge into one. This is often called Mushin, or no mind in martial arts. The mind stops interfering, allowing the body's training to take over. When Alexander reaches this state, work is no longer a chore. It becomes a form of meditation, a source of energy. Most people fail because they rely on motivation, which is fickle. Kaizen relies on discipline and habit, which are reliable. By making the habit too small to fail, you bypass the brain's fear response. You trick your amygdala into accepting change. Large changes trigger fear and resistance. Small changes fly under the radar, allowing you to reprogram yourself without triggering an alarm. The tortoise beats the hare not because he is fast, but because he never stops moving forward towards the finish line. Alexander realizes that the impossible task was just a series of possible tasks strung together by patience and daily effort. His environment reflects his mind. Order, clarity, and purpose have replaced the chaos, confusion, and stagnation that once ruled his life. When you improve yourself, you subtly give permission to everyone around you to do the same. Leadership is example, not words. Think of your life as a bonsai tree. You cannot force it to grow, but you can shape it with daily care. He learns to respect his tools and his trade. Shoshin teaches us that there is dignity in every action we take. He connects the dots. He sees how his small job fits into the grand machinery of the world, finding meaning in it. In an interconnected world, the ability to learn and adapt is the single most valuable currency you can possibly possess. The learning never stops. The destination of mastery is a mirage. The true joy is found in the walking of the path. There is always a higher peak. Shoshin reminds us that we are always beginners at the next level of our existence. Do not try to do everything at once. Pick one skill, one habit, one small change, and apply these principles today. Write it down. Make a contract with yourself. When you define your goal, your brain's reticular activating system begins to spot opportunities. Your brain is a filtering machine. Tell it what is important, and it will show you the path that was hidden before. Suddenly, Alexander sees resources everywhere. The world hasn't changed, but his attention has shifted, revealing the abundance that was always there. He learns to laugh at his clumsiness. A heavy ego is easily bruised, but a beginner's mind is flexible and resilient. Be like bamboo. Rigid trees break in the storm, but the flexible bamboo survives because it yields to the forces around it. He listens more than he speaks. He realizes that every person he meets knows something he doesn't, and he wants that knowledge. True listening is rare. It requires the total suspension of your own inner monologue to fully receive the other person's perspective. Capture the wisdom. Don't trust your memory. Writing things down signals to your brain that this information is worth keeping long term. The more you learn, the more you realize how little you know. This is not discouraging. It is the fuel for eternal curiosity. Humility is not thinking less of yourself. It is thinking of yourself less. It opens you up to the vastness of reality. Just like compound interest makes you wealthy over time, compound learning makes you wise. You are investing in your own future self. He teaches the next generation that patience is a superpower in a world that is addicted to speed and instant results. Seasons change, trends come and go, but the disciplined practitioner remains at their post, chipping away at the marble of their potential. You are both the sculptor and the stone. The process of self-mastery is a process of chipping away what does not belong. He has aged, yes, but his mind has grown younger. He has reclaimed the plasticity and joy that he thought was lost forever. Science shows that super-agers, older adults with the memories of 20-year-olds, share this trait. They never stopped challenging their brains with hard tasks. It is never too late. The brain remains plastic until the very end, waiting for you to give it a reason to adapt. Mastery brings calm. When you know you can handle the problem, you no longer react with stress. You respond with quiet confidence. Respect is earned not by demanding it, but by demonstrating a level of care and competence that is rare in today's world. At the end of the day, there is a deep satisfaction in knowing that you gave your best and improved, even just a little. This peace is the ultimate reward. It is the silence of a mind that is no longer fighting against itself or its circumstances. Chew. Follow the path. Ha. Explore the detour. Re. Become the road. This is the cycle that leads to greatness in any field. Kaizen. Step by step, stone by stone. Do not rush the journey, for the climb itself is where the muscle is built. Shoshin. Stay empty. Stay hungry. The moment you think you have arrived is the moment you begin to slide down. The benefits ripple out. A better man makes a better father, a better partner, and a better member of the community. He passes the torch. He teaches his son not just the answers, but the courage to be wrong and the resilience to try again. This is the legacy of the beginner's mind. It preserves the wonder of childhood well into our adult years and beyond. The world will not stop for you. It is up to you to jump into the stream and learn to swim with the current. Stop reacting to life. Start designing it. Use these tools to build a structure that supports the person you wish to become. You have a light inside you. Stagnation tries to blow it out, but these philosophies cup their hands around the flame to protect it. The greatest minds in history were not the ones who knew the most answers, but the ones who asked the best questions. Don't limit your challenges. Challenge your limits. Alexander is now looking at aircraft engines, a field he once thought was impossible. He is willing to be a fool again. He is willing to ask the stupid questions that everyone else is too afraid to ask. True freedom is the ability to learn anything you set your mind to. It breaks the chains of dependence and fear. Feel the wind. Feel the potential. You are not a finished product. You are a process that is constantly unfolding and becoming. Do not wait for the perfect time. The perfect time is a myth. The only time you have is this messy, imperfect moment. Grab hold of your life. Take responsibility for your own brain. No one else can do the push-ups for you. You must act. Find the joy in the grind. Fall in love with the plateau. That is where the real work of life actually happens. When your mindset, your methods, and your habits align, success becomes inevitable. It is just a matter of time and physics. We are reaching the end of this video, but it is just the beginning of your journey. The screen will go dark, but you remain. What will you do in the next hour? Will you scroll to the next video? Or will you take one small step forward? Clean your desk, read one page, do one push-up, sit in silence for 1 minute. Just do something to break the static. Alexander is fictional, but his struggle is real, and his solution is available to you. Be the hero of your own story. This has been a production of Infinite Mind Potential. We are dedicated to helping you unlock the vast resources within your own head. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the mind, check out our other videos on focus, discipline, and the science of success. Thank you for lending us your most valuable asset, your attention. Use it wisely, and we will see you in the next one. Keep practicing Shoshin. Keep building with Kaizen. And remember, the path to mastery is always under your feet, right now. Take a moment to let this sink in. Do not rush to the next distraction. Let the ideas settle into your mind. As Shunryu Suzuki said, in the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities, but in the experts, there are few. Choose possibilities. We hope this video serves as a catalyst for your transformation. You have the tools. Now, you must supply the labor. Infinite Mind Potential is more than a channel. It is a community of seekers. Join us, and let's grow together. Until next time, keep your mind open, your spirit resilient, and your daily actions aligned with your highest goals. Goodbye. This is Infinite Mind Potential, signing off. Don't forget to subscribe for more content that expands your horizons. See you soon.